I want to talk about this contemplation that I had on the Law of One Tarot, which I've never had before. So in my last video, or a couple of videos ago or something like that, in the Law of One Tarot, I basically talked about this section, which I've never seen this before. I thought the contemplation was, what if, just what if, this experience here, which is the green ray, the heart chakra, quite possibly, could not be, I don't know, fourth density maybe, love and understanding. This is the balance point. Let's say this is the neutral point, okay? So I've always seen, and I still think it is, in the beginning stages of the ego, I do feel like the matrix, this is the yang, then you have the yin, then you have the yin as a catalyst, the ego here, 3D, then you have the yang. I do feel that these four work very closely together. But once you start expanding your perspective, which is basically consciousness, and you start working with the significator transformation in great way, and your experience here, your experience becomes your neutral point, your balance, like this here. See the body complex, the justice card, these two, the weights. Once these come to balance and the senses, see she's got the blindfold on. So the senses, your emotions through your five senses, the ego, the true ego, your five senses, and the emotions. It's funny because the emotions create the ego in the beginning if you're you react to everything because you're unconscious. But that flips to when you have enough observation and faith, that will flip into this contemplation, into the moon card, where you're contemplating the dark and the light, the yin and the yang. When you start that contemplation, you start opening perspective. That's all it is. And that will bring you closer to neutrality, closer to the matrix of the justice, the body complex. So once you get to this stage, okay, what if now, what I'm asking is, once you get to this neutral state, what if the matrix potentiator catalyst is all yin? The mind complex, these three cards of the matrix potentiator catalyst, the body complex, these three cards, the spirit complex, these three cards. When I say cards, I mean archetypes. Become yin. Then you have neutrality. And then what flips over onto this yin, in balance, in yin yang balance, the significator, mind, body, the significator transformation and great way of the mind complex, 1, 2, 3, of the body complex right here, 1, 2, 3, of the spirit complex, unity right here, 1, 2, 3, become the yang. I want to play these two videos for you.
This is exactly matching in the same location on the right north wall of the King's Chamber, in the same position in both the painting and on the wall of the King's Chamber. A very large cow and bull encrypted right into the wall. Now, why is it that Hathor represents the Omega, which of course draws the conclusion for us that the two things must be irrevocably linked? The Alpha and Omega on the rim of the sarcophagus must relate very directly somehow through this story, this mythological story of the Apis bull and Hathor, his mother. And this notion of sacrificing the ego in favor of a higher consciousness, sacrificing the separation in favor of a unity consciousness. All of this is pointing back to this same Omega and Alpha symbol. And if we look at the letter A,
so sacrificing the ego of the mind, the ego of the body, the ego of the spirit which doesn't really have an ego, right? It's the faith card, because your spirit complex is your faith. So what if sacrificing this becomes the alpha and omega? What's the alpha omega? The alpha omega is the beginning and the end. The alpha omega is the matrix. Now, the one thing I'm not sure is if the alpha and omega is the matrix and the great way, because when you come to this neutrality, what does happen is that the great way becomes the matrix, or either way, the matrix becomes the great way. And it will only do that when you come to this neutral experience through the heart chakra and you come to the spirit complex of the significator. You come to the sun card, which is union, oneness. And he was talking about the sarcophagus. What's that right there? In transformation. What's that? Let's keep listening.
In the uppercase form, it kind of looks like a pyramid. And as we look at a lowercase form of the letter A, we notice that it can both be an omega symbol when we simply rotate it, or if we have it in its normal lowercase form as a letter A, it's just the Greek letter alpha. So very interestingly, is it as simple as that? That the masculine form is just a flip in polarity of the feminine form? And that what we're perceiving as different and separate might actually simply just be our product of our own polarity and perception?
What the fuck? What the fuck? This is exactly what I was, well, he articulated it, okay? This is not exactly what I was thinking. I'm acting all hardcore and cool now. But this man has given me complete, like, yes, this is what it was, the missing link for me when that conversation in my head started about what if when you come to this exact neutral point, this all becomes yin, this all is yang on this side, and it flips over onto itself through perspective. I'm just so excited. Honestly, this makes me so happy.
If you need to record anything over the internet, I cannot think of a more seamless way than
he has a lot of commercials on his thing. That's what I don't like.
And what about the symbol of Mercury and Hermes? Rosicrucianism, the Rose Cross, and all of this symbolism through alchemy through many ages of time, all the way back to the Epic of Gilgamesh, seems to be pointing us to this universal symbol of a merger between the representation of Venus and the representation of the Aleph, or the bull. Aleph is the Hebrew name of the letter A. And in Hebrew, there's only 22 letters, but the last letter is Tav. That got replaced with the omega symbol in the Greek alphabet with 24 letters. And in English, we have 26 letters in our Roman alphabet. The omega represents fertility. It represents the uterus, the womb, and the fallopian tubes. And this is also the symbolism of the hair of the Hathor, the cow, the mother of the Apis bull. We were stunned to find the exact same place in both the King's Chamber as well as in the Last Supper painting from over 500 years ago. In plain sight, the Apis and the Hathor, tying right back directly through the symbology and mythology of the Alpha and Omega. Again, pointing us to the metaphor that we also must give up our egos and our separation, to a certain extent, our own individuality or our belief of separation from everyone else, in order to experience a unity consciousness and be born and reborn by coming out of the sarcophagus, just as Hermes Trismegistus
by coming out of the sarcophagus into the great way. And guess what happens? You come to, okay, let's do this. So you come to this from a neutral place, right? When you've been practicing presence, you've been practicing awareness, you've been practicing beingness, you've been understanding the subconscious mind, and you've been doing affirmations, working with it. Things now emotionally, they don't trigger you as much because it's okay. Everything, it's okay. You know what? You're not confronting, that's a negative word. You are observing your own ego, okay? You've come to this neutral place. You've come to it. Now, what if you come to this unity, reborn through the sarcophagus, like he was saying, that's what it's called, I think, into the great way, then you flip right back onto the matrix. The great way now becomes the matrix. It's the same thing. Because now you don't feel the polarity of the duality that this matrix, this potentiator, this catalyst was creating. It's done. Through neutralizing the emotions, there is no good, there is no bad. What if? What if? I don't know. What do you guys think? This is all, I'm trying to do these more real time, but this is incredible.
Exhorts us to do in the Emerald Tablets. He says, lay in my sarcophagus, and I will reveal unto you the great mysteries, in the Emerald Tablets of Thoth in the Dorial translation. Is Thoth also known as the divine hermaphrodite, the perfect balance of consciousness, of the subconscious mind and the conscious mind merging together into unity consciousness, ushering in a new reality and a new experience of less judgment, less fear, less scarcity,
come on,
less struggle. Another thing that...
Okay, come on. Everything he's saying, here's what I feel. I have one more person that I want to show you. I have one more video. These archetypes, they're archetypes. These are all archetypes, okay? This struggle, these archetypes, all they need is observation. All they need is recognition. You know why? Because the stories that are within these archetypes are within you. They're within your cells. They're within the water of your body because of your ancestors. What if you just give these archetypes, even these guys here, but especially these three, 1, 2, 3, not 3, 3, 6. Actually, even the experience is not neutral. It's not. The heart will hold hate until it holds love. So let's say these 4, matrix, all 3, 3, potentiator, 6, catalyst, 9, experience, 12. What if you were able to recognize these archetypes, these 12 archetypes of the mind complex, matrix, potentiator, catalyst, experience, of the body complex, all 4, of the spirit complex, and just give them homage and say, it's okay. I get you. You good. And bring them to a neutral space here. Look, she's quieting the ego. And the ego is actually listening. The lion's not fighting back. What if it's the body complex of the experience that neutralizes everything? And these all become yin. And this all on this side becomes yang here. Okay, one more YouTuber I want to listen to, and I love this guy, Gabriel. He is, in my opinion, he's one of my favorite Law of One teachers. He's so good. We have a podcast together. It's on my channel somewhere. I'm going to have to find it and link it, but listen to what he says here.
And they say in an infinite creator, there is only unity. So now we're talking about the creator, right? That which creates. That which creates can only be one, right? It cannot separate itself from itself. That doesn't happen. Some people interpret reality as being that. They interpret spirituality and the stories saying that we are fragmented here.
Stories.
Now, this is maybe a compassionate approach to the mind.
What stories is he talking about? What stories? Here is a very, very important tip that I'm giving you. These are the stories you're telling yourself. It's within these archetypes. Okay, right here. Magician, high priestess, empress, emperor, body complex, justice, hermit, This is actually, I believe it's the wheel of chakras. It's actually your organs, because your organs hold your chakras. But in modern day tarot, they call it the wheel of fortune. It's so distorted. This is not the wheel of fortune at all. Okay. It wouldn't be here in the body complex for the catalyst if it was a wheel of fortune. It's suffering until it's not. And then you have your strength card, spirit complex, the devil. The spirit complex is the devil because it's tied down. It's heavy here. The matrix is heavy. It's like a beautiful spider web. Imagine the spider makes this beautiful web, but you come in with all these distortions of all of these archetypes. Not only these archetypes, look up at the stars. Look at your astrology. When were you born? That's going to give you a lot of information of your past history, your stories that you're holding on to. Your North Node and your South Node have so much information in it. The Tower, the Faith card, which is the catalyst, and the Moon card.
That hasn't grasped yet their beingness, but compassionate as it may be, at some point it must be shaken away and shown that it makes no sense, that there are fragmented pieces of unity. That makes absolute no sense. It's almost like saying that a number can stray away from infinity, that numbers can be independent from infinity. And I'm talking about the numeric line here. All numbers are a way to describe the infinite line of essence, matter, substance that is. Right? It's just a way of fragmenting mentally that which is infinite. And so in an infinite creator, there's only unity. There's never been a fragmentation. It's only perceivable for us, and it's because that's the way we can experience reality. We come out of infinity to create and experience, and we return to infinity.
It's kind of like the colors, right, of the rainbow. Our chakras are our organs, or the organs create the chakras. The chakras, let's just call it a chakra, the frequency that is of our chakra is based on the prism that he's talking about there. So how distorted your prism is how emotional you are here in your cause and effect area in this 3D on Earth. Your mind, is it completely controlled by your ego? Did you forget the heavens above, like this bird is trying to tell her in your third eyes, floating around in the cube? Who's controlling the wheel of chakras? Is it unconscious, or your organs controlling it? Because if your organs control it, it's going to be all your past experiences that you may not even, in past lives even maybe, or when you were 0 to 7, that you may not even remember. The only thing that's getting us through, and will get you through, or us through, in this 3D world is faith. This is called the star card in modern day tarot, and it is the spirit complex of this density here. It is the archetype, and it is faith.
As the end of the journey. And there's not even a we. It's just that perception begins and ends in infinity, in unity. Let's see it that way, so we don't have to put a mythological approach to all of this and entities and travels and all this. Perception begins in infinity or unity, and it ends in unity. For example, you wake up from deep sleep. That's infinity. That's pure awareness. And you go back to sleep at night. Same thing. It's a cycle. Experience after experience, day after day. Then they say, you have seen a simple example of unity, or simple examples of unity, and they mention the prism, which is a beautiful way to see. Yes, light is one, but it can be fragmented. Is it truly fragmented? No, it's simply exhibiting that which is potential within it. And each one of those rays of light can be further.
What did he just say? The fragmented light. Oh my God, I love this stuff. Okay, let's go back to this for a second. He said, the fragmented light is potential. What is this? The potentiator. If this is the subconscious mind and the light is fragmented, what is it fragmented into? The catalyst. What did I say that I think this is? I don't know if I'm right. There's no right answer here. I believe this is the wheel of karma, wheel of chakra, wheel of emotions. How attached are you? I feel like that's what this is. And it's depending on the potentiator, that where the amount of light distortion or fragmentation and how much light of that ray the organ can hold on to. So the organ, the gonads, the red ray, the root chakra, how much true red light, that red, beautiful, energetic light, even though it's slow, it's heavy, but it's beautiful. It's got so much beauty in it. How much can the gonads hold on to? How secure are you? How secure? How much security do you have? Orange ray, adrenals, fear. How much light are your adrenals holding on to? Is it a very mucky? Is it mucky? Hardly any, nothing? Because you're emotionally reactive to everything? Or is there a little pinch of light? How much? Is it 10%? Is it 25%? These are questions that are very important to observe, contemplate when you're in the middle of an emotion. It is really important to understand the feeling that you're feeling. Is it hate? Is it dismay? Is it shame? Is it guilt? Relate it to an organ. And then understand you don't even have to do anything from there. That's all you have to do. If you don't know what else to do, it's totally fine. You can just relate it to the organ, and you can feel the sense of, am I 50% pissed off right now? Am I 75? Am I 100? Start understanding the levels of emotions that you are experiencing within the organs. Those are the prisms of light.
Quote unquote fragmented, but it's just an expression of the same light.
Yeah.
And they would go on to explain here the octaves of experience and so on. But we don't need to get into that because it's not necessary, not for the recognition of who we are, just for the inquisitive mind that wants to put things into order and organize things. And now they're going to enunciate the law of one. They say, in truth, there is no right or wrong. There is no polarity. For all will be, as you would say, reconciled at some point in your dance through the mind-body-spirit complex, which you amuse yourself by distorting in various ways at this time. This distortion is not in any case necessary. It is chosen by each of you as an alternative to understanding the complete unity of thought, which binds all things. So, right away, there is no polarity, no right or wrong, no up and down, no inside and outside. Everything is congruent with the non-dual understanding. Forget about the teaching, because it can get complicated too. The non-dual understanding through direct experience that you have never seen anything beyond yourself. You have never seen anything beyond now and here. There is no other place, there is no other time, there is no other being. It's only been you. The way you perceive things, you may qualify them as other beings, but in essence, it's just been you. Everything has been processed by what you call you. Well, we go back to, who am I then? Who is processing all of this? Who is creating all of this? And who is returning to itself at night in meditation or, at any given moment when I'm not lost in thought? Well, you see that is the one being. And everybody is that. So that is that there is no polarity. This could be explored further because this is the investigation that brings about the peaceful, harmonious way of the adept. And they say that everything that we perceive now will be reconciled by the mind-body-spirit complex, which is now getting, of course, into the language of the law of one. And they say that we amuse ourselves by distorting in various ways at this time, meaning that we're basically children playing with this. It's like animals in the wild. They're just playing. We think in a Darwinistic way that, they're survival. All they think about, as soon as they wake up, it's all about survival. It's much more accurate to me to see that they are playing, that they're playing within the rules that their mind-body allows them. And that's exploration, that's experience.
See, and that kind of reminds me of the strength card that I showed you here, right here. So the strength card, right? We're all reacting, animalistic. But even if you take Gabriel's perspective, and we're just playing, just be easy on yourself. We're just playing. We're here for the experience. This is incredible. It's very beautiful. I love the Law of One teachers. Man, if you want to learn more about like the Law of One, I teach
survival.
I teach mainly like the archetypes and stuff. Not teach them. I don't know shit. I just share it's learner teacher, then comes the teacher learner, right? So I just share when I know I have to. It's like it's a feeling, right? But Gabriel has like amazing courses on his site for the Law of One. He used to. I don't know if he still does, but great man, great person.
Survival is just an instinct of preserving the game. I want to play for longer. So survival is just that. We all have it. But that's not the name of the game. Let's call it that. And then they say that this distortion is not, in any case, necessary. We don't have to do this. You see? This can get, of course, into a bit of I don't know what word I want to use, but into a dark interpretation, like, I don't need to do any of this. Why am I here? And so on. That strays away from what it means. What it means is that, it's not necessary that we have to do this, but it is what we do because we desire it to do. It's just that we forgot that we desire to do this. And that's what we are remembering. And
I'm going to end it there because I love what he just said. And it's interesting because the strength card is in the middle. It's the card of neutrality. We just forgot. That this is all a play area for us, right? Don't take it too seriously. It's okay. We're just giving God an experience, Don't take it too personal. Nothing is, because at the end of it, even past 70, 80 and 90, when you melt back into the one, all your experiences will be forgotten anyway. So really, what's the attachment? Love you guys so much.